deep in the parched desert sands of ancient Osirian.
Long-forgotten secrets are becoming unearthed
that could threaten the security of the entire region.
Through cursed tombs, undead crypts,
and towering pyramids,
our unlikely band of heroes must rise to the challenge
and find the secrets of
the Mummy's Mask. Hello and welcome back to the Mithral Tabletop. It's me, Andrew Waba, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the first episode of our starting trilogy of episodes. Last week we met our players and their characters, and now we get to jump in and see them all show off their personalities a bit in this episode. Well, that is to say, all but one of our players. While the first 3 episodes are all getting released at the same time, we actually recorded them all a week apart. Between our first and second episodes, Alyssa, who plays our smoldering cleric Habibi, flew off to South Korea for a 2-week vacation. She'll be back for episode 4, don't worry, but in the meantime, what's a GM to do? Outside the world of the game, we're all just adults with adult lives and adult responsibilities. We have rents to pay, jobs to go to, and other obligations, and eventually one of these is going to have to take priority over this game that we all love and cherish. There have been a lot of solutions that many GMs have come up with to solve this issue of what to do when a player misses a session, and they're all equally valid. Some skip a session, some decide to play for their player. All these are okay if the table agrees. The solution that we came up with is coming up with hopefully a believable reason a missing player's character would slip away from the party for a bit, just so they can always have full control of their character. Sometimes this is as simple as the character fading into the background, so to speak. Others call for a bit more complicated of reason. So, without spoiling too much about what we have planned for Habibi, let's just hang out with our currently present players for a bit and jump straight into the ep and see what this priestess lady here has to say. So without further ado, here's episode 2, Hookah, Line, and Sinker. You guys already met all the Misfits, our party of, wonderful, lovable heroes. And we all kind of hinted, or I think we all actually addressed what classes we all played. But I wanna know from you guys personally, like why did you pick to play the class that you play? Tanhi, your thoughts?
Very quickly, Tanhi, your thoughts. Tanhi wanted to go Bam Bam.
Bam. Isn't that copyrighted?
I don't know.
From the Flintstones?
Bam Bam.
No, not the character. She just wanted to go Bam Bam.
Yes.
Legally distinct Bam Bam.
Legally distinct Bam Bam.
Okay. But yeah, so I chose Barbarian because I have a Barbarian in a different campaign, but she's literally like so scared. I think I'm going to revamp her, but I wanted an actual Barbarian fighter. So like I wanted someone that would get in front and like take the hits and try to give the hits, and she's done good
go
so
Bam
far.
Bam?
And go Bam Bam.
She has. She's big, she's tough, she has a gigantic battle axe.
Yes.
What is her instinct, by the way?
Giant.
Of course, the giant cat with a giant axe is a giant
So
instinct
she
barbarian.
goes big Bam Bam.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Probably
Yeah.
so badass.
I can't wait for
though.
level 6 and 12 because there are some interesting giant instinct barbarian
Oh,
feats at level 6 and 12.
yeah.
Is that when she actually grows a size?
Yeah.
Let's not reveal spoilers so soon.
I was gonna spoiler. It's literally on the website.
Absolutely. But so real quick before we finish from Anjela, you said you played a barbarian in another campaign. That person who runs that campaign is here with us right now.
Well, that's not very nice.
Curveball. You thought you were going to push it towards Tariq and Khepri. I pull it back. I throw it a key.
Okay,
So
so
Keryth is an elf.
yes, Keryth is.
That's all we need to know. Moving on.
Hey now. So okay, so since that is the segue that's the segue you decided to use, so I'm gonna go with it. So the campaign that Anjela mentioned is I am running Abomination Vaults, and that group is very close to finishing book 1, so we still have 2 more books to go. But
Written by James Jacobs.
yes, which is why it has some creepy moments, and it's been pretty interesting so far. My first go on with GMing, but I've liked it so far, especially now that I have the Foundry bundle, which makes life so much easier. But
Happy birthday, you're welcome.
yeah. So for this game, Keryth is an elf, as Waba so nicely told us again, and he is the Inventor class. And I chose Inventor for essentially two reasons. One, it's very flavorful. A lot of the feats are just so interesting and fun. And two, you make things go boom. Why wouldn't I like that?
Yes, you do. You make a lot of things go boom.
Including
So
Angela goes bam bam, and Katie goes boom boom.
Boom, boom.
Yep. Bamboo.
Oh,
Bamboo.
no.
Now, where's the
If only
boozle?
we had an alchemist, then we could have somebody go bomb bomb.
Stop. I mean, well, you're, a goblin is like the iconic goblin plays a.
Isn't there a
boom
goblin,
kind of
or isn't
person.
there a bomb in my picture? Did I make
don't
that
think
up?
so.
No, there's somebody has.
Nice
a bomb
segue, though,
in my
Nick.
Picture.
Yeah.
What are you
Speaking
talking
of
about?
Nick.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't.
Yeah,
have
so
a segue.
what class? Mkfor's playing a thaumaturge, but why did you pick thaumaturge?
So basically, this is kind of like my only second campaign that I've done. The first one I did a bard because, hello, I'm a musician. Of course I'm going to do a bard. And it was very spellcaster heavy. So I wanted to do something that was a little less reliant on spells, but not fully a martial character. So yeah, I wanted to do something that was less spellcaster heavy, but I wasn't ready to go like full on martial yet. And I went over to Waba's house. We were just kind of hanging out, and we watched The Mummy, and he was explaining this new thaumaturge class and how it was like that one coward guy in The Mummy. And I was like,
Benny!
you know, I could maybe flavor that really well. And so part of my main focus in this is actually more on the like ad lib side of things and flavor and improv and all that kind of stuff, which is also why I chose a chaotic goblin, because Doriellen, my bard, was very kind of quiet and reserved, and I want to do a shift on that. But Mkfor is very much, very chaotic goblin, wants to mess with anything and everything, and the whole thaumaturge idea about like he can use whatever he finds as symbolism for a religion, and just not even with it being real symbolism, but just the fact that he thinks it is, and that's what gives it
just
the power.
Sheer force of
So-
will. I believe this so hard it becomes real.
Exactly. So Mkfor has this like super ingrained power that he doesn't even realize, just making something powerful by thinking it is powerful. So I'm just really excited to use that in that aspect of the game. So
Speaking of power, we jump from these martial characters down to the complete opposite side of the power spectrum, and we have two, as they would call them, short stacks or short kings.
Short king!
Who
Watch
have a
it.
different kind of power. But actually, you know what? Let's do the hybrid, Tariq, because you're not actually technically a full spellcaster. You're classified as a martial with magical flavor to them, right? You picked a magus. Why did you pick a magus?
All right. For the magus, whatever you want to call them, I've played Pathfinder twice before, with first edition, and once with second edition, and both times I played a paladin. On the second edition one, I played a specific paladin called a champion, and I was very much a tank character in both types of things. But with the last campaign I did, I kind of went a little bit into magic and casting by having like a sorcerer class, multi-class. And
Yeah, you took a sorcerer dip.
yes. And so I liked it, but not enough to like fully want to go into just casters, because I know we have casters that a lot of time they're what people call squishy, and so it's like I didn't know if I was ready to not be as fully like having a higher armor class and not having that protection. And so Waba talked to me a little bit about the mages class and how they're kind of like the best of both worlds. So you get the casting ability while you're also a martial character. So you're not as strong as like a martial character, and you're not as strong as a spellcaster, but you kind of get to end up being a jack of both trades. So I thought that was really cool, and I really liked the style of it, being able to have kind of like a heavy hitter and the flexibility with the style of fighting that I could rely on casting when I'm farther away, or when I'm up close, I can go into like the Arcane Cascade and have these really powerful strikes. So the aspect of the class really appealed to me in that way.
And you have a little sister who is very much into the martial side of things.
Very little.
Khepri.
I am an
Very
older.
little
I am the
sister.
older sister.
Short jokes.
The bigger little sister.
They always are.
I'm so sorry.
They
The little
always
bigger
are.
sister.
I mean, it's funny because in real life, my two youngest siblings are much taller than me, and then my other younger sister is not. And her and I are the two older ones, and the other two are way taller than us.
Your parents were just saving the taller genes.
Apparently, because they waited between Megan and Ryan 5 years, and then we're like, oh, here's the tall. So, Khepri is a druid, and there's a lot of reasons why I picked a druid. First off, I really enjoyed playing a witch in a previous campaign, so I was a primal witch, and I really liked the idea. Her name's Avi, and she's Azarketi. She comes from the water, but I really liked the idea of how connected to nature she was. Well, I wanted to make a character who could connect to nature both in a way to appreciate the archaeological findings, such as, hey, in Osirian, similar to ancient Egypt, they used the land to build these beautiful civilizations. And Khepri is someone who really appreciates the nature around her, what it's built for her, both animals and land. So I wanted to bring that into play, and that's why I chose a druid. And I like being a spellcaster too. I really enjoy it. I know I'm squishy and I don't care.
I was actually impressed because the very first character you made was a 7th level spellcaster. I think a witch, in fact.
Mm-hmm. Primal.
Been there, done
She's
that.
not a witch. She's your wife.
Yep. Meanwhile, Katie over here started with a 7th level sorcerer, and I think Anjela started with... No, you started level 1 with Lidna, but then you later, at the request, at my request, you joined our Tyrant's Grasp game, and you picked up a 16?
Yeah,
It
level
was very
wizard?
high.
Yeah,
was
16th
very
That was
level
your first
wizard.
foray into spellcasters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
and then he
it was
died.
insane.
And then he died.
Rest
Yes.
in peace.
Spoilers for that totally unrecorded game that's never going to
Yes,
see
it's
the
already
light.
Do that. We should just really do that
What?
campaign.
Oh, I do
Everything
want to try
exactly
it
the
from
same.
the start.
No, we're not doing that. You want to start the... Maybe. No. That's another
That'll be
conversation.
a-
Okay,
that'll be
focus,
a
Waba,
podcast.
focus.
Waba, calm down. We already have way too many
So
games in the
Oh
pipeline.
my god,
Many
I want to play
Pathfinder
every
nights.
single one. I want to play every single one.
We
of
have
these
all the
games.
ones
I
that we have
don't care.
Can we
started
just
and
make
are on
Pathfinder
pause.
our full-time jobs?
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Let's just do that. What's stopping us?
I'm
Money?
going to stay as a nurse practitioner. I worked really, really hard to get there, and I think I would be really upset if I did leave, so...
No.
You'll
you
still
need to
do
quit.
that. It'll just be your hobby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nurse practitioning is the hobby, and Pathfinder is the job.
That's how it's supposed to go, right?
Switch
Yeah, exactly.
But let's see. So we have all the games we have on pause and that are currently being played, and then after that, Anjela wants to run the Frozen one. I want to do Blood Lords. You want to do Strength of Thousands and every other one.
Kingmaker, Strength of 1,000, Reign of Winter, Iron Gods, the Rune Lord trilogy. There's so many adventure paths. I don't have enough time to do them all. But I do have enough time for this one. Do you guys
Yeah.
want to play some Mummy's Mask?
Yes.
What?
Fantastic.
We're
The
playing
one-
today?
we are playing
And
today.
I just wanted to say, the one character we didn't get to dive into was Habibi, but Habibi's...
Oh, yeah, let me do Habibi's real quick.
Habibi's player is having a really fun adventure right now.
Hi, my name is Habibi. I'm a... What's
He's
that?
gonna kill you.
What's that? Oh, I need to fly to Korea for 2 weeks? Okay, bye, guys. Sorry. Fades into the distance. That's how we handle it.
Have fun
Now
storming
we
the
handle
castle.
better than that.
Have fun storming the castle in another
You
country.
think they'll make
Such
it?
a good movie.
No, we really miss Alyssa, but she'll be back. Not next week, but the week after.
And she's having so much
In
fun.
the meantime, blackout. Faint smoke wafts up from the desecrated ruins of the once proud city of Wati. The smell of decay overwhelms the senses, and the hisses and growls of undeath drift quietly through the desolate city. It has been nearly 500 years since the city first fell victim to a cult of Lamashtu worshippers that unleashed a plague of madness into the heart of the populace. Those who did not immediately perish from the fever fell into a murderous rampage that swept through the city like a wildfire, killing off many in its wake.
There. Another group of zombies. Everyone ready?
A tall, well-muscled, dark-skinned man whispers to the warriors behind him. On his padded armor is emblazoned a blue spiral like a comet, the symbol of Pharasma, goddess of fate and death. Behind him, a dozen holy knights give him their silent consent. Among them are paladins, alchemists, wizards, clerics of Pharasma, just anyone who has specially been trained to slay the undead before them.
Excellent. Nadia, do you still have that vial we talked about yesterday?
Oh, I have been waiting for this.
A few dozen feet down the empty streets in Wati, surrounded by rubble and fallen homes, a swarm of zombies are hunched over a carcass of an ox, flies buzzing about, emphasizing the essence of disease. The Pharasman knights knew about the zombies, lumbering, mindless, undead creatures, and they have an insatiable hunger for living flesh, but are particularly easy to destroy compared to some other undead. Most of those who perished to the plague of madness eventually turned into zombies after not being properly put to rest, but those were the unlucky ones. The knights vowed to release their souls back into the infinite cycle and to properly be judged by Pharasma. We slowly zoom in on the feeding zombies. They're kind of like gnawing and moving about in a sickening way. And then we hear a faint, distant grunt, followed by a second later, a small vial landing and rolling into view with a light clink, 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 clink. One curious zombie ceases its feast briefly as it watches the vial come to a stop a foot or two away from it. It has like this raw carcass, blood dripping down its face. Though it cannot read, a simple hieroglyph is attached to the vial which roughly translates into the word, "Smile." Immediately, the vial cracks and a brilliant flash of white light floods the area as each undead scampers bodily over each other to try and escape the searing, blistering white light. Shouts fill the clearing as suddenly a small army of clerics and paladins charge in, the sounds of divine magic and clashing of steel against ripping flesh, cracking bone echo throughout the deserted streets that were once bustling with life.
Very good, knights. We'll take back this city in no time if we keep this up.
Nefru said triumphantly as he emerges after the armored holy knights, flooding into the city. He overlooks the battle as it easily sways into the favor of the undead slayers. Nefru was a war priest of the Lady of the Graves, and commanded a small battalion of warriors trained in subduing undead.
Lord Shepses, by the will of the goddess, our work goes well. The outer perimeter is almost entirely secured, and we have only a few more undead to scatter before construction on the wall can commence. We should be done by tonight, my men tell me.
Excellent news, Commander Nadia. At this rate, Wadi will be safe to begin habitation again by the end of the year. Tell the craftsmen they are cleared to begin construction of the wall tomorrow.
Nefru allows himself a brief smile at the good news. The dead city of Wadi had only a few dozen living residents left. People too stubborn to move away since the outbreak, and have managed to adapt to living on the outskirts of the undead city. But Nefru had had enough. After hundreds of years of being denied the permission to march onto the city by the pharaohs from long ago, the Kelshite sultans seemed to be a bit more understanding. Perhaps due to their more militant mindset they had after all conquered Osiris, the current sultan of Osirian gave Nefru tacit permission to secure the city. We finally come back to where we last left our heroes. They had just gathered into the Sunburst Market in the center of the Midwife District in the city of Wati, now bustling with city much more than it had been about 2,000 years ago. When suddenly a proud, triumphant trumpet sounds across the pool near the Grand Mausoleum. As you guys approach this woman, she is dressed in black with green highlighted, accentuated clothing. She has green lipstick and a fierce eyeshadow. She kind of looks like this. But yeah, she's very fierce looking, and she has like a very proud appearance and mannerism to her. She doesn't look super old. She's fairly young, and she has a necklace with a crocodile skull on it. She is known as Septi the Crocodile, the High Priestess of Pharasma here. As the trumpets finally die down, she stands up and she addresses the crowd and she goes, "Welcome! Welcome one and all to our proud city of Wati. Let the lottery begin!" And suddenly there is a loud uproar as everyone starts cheering and celebrating the beginning of the ceremony. She raises her hands again and everyone suddenly dies down once again and she goes, "Before we begin properly, allow me to begin with an invocation of Our Lady of Graves. If you'll bow your head with me in prayer. O Lady of Graves, we humbly call upon you to safely usher the departed into your presence. In the halls of judgment upon the spire, guide them safely to your waiting throne. And with your infinite wisdom, see that they receive their just rewards. Judge softly then those who heed your words, but condemn those who foolishly disobey your commandments. I utter now. You shall see all that has been and must be. You watch over the cycle of birth and death. Watch then, now, over us all, so that we may find and accept our true destiny. Amen." And the crowd echoes in chorus, "Amen, amen." You just hear them all billowing all around you guys. When she eventually looks back up, she begins by welcoming everyone. She says, "Welcome, welcome to our town of Wati. As you know, 7 years ago, Prince Khemit III, the Ruby Prince, has opened Osiris to outside explorers and adventurers, so that they may go into the tombs and temples of the ancient Osiriani and find relics from the past. We here at the Grand Mausoleum may have thoughts on this decision, but it is not ours to disobey the pharaoh himself. However, we were able to handle this in the way that best suited us here at the Temple of Pharasma. You see, we won't just open up the necropolis to any adventurer, so it will be a mad dash to the richest places. This is still our home. This is a sacred place to all of us. And so, in the manner best suiting Pharasma, we shall let fate decide. Behind me, you see 2 cauldrons," and she gestures as she steps to the side, and you see these 2 massive urns. They're very well decorated with all these hieroglyphs, ancient Osiriani hieroglyphs. And inside, you can kind of hear the rattling of several ping pong balls. She gestures behind to the urns. She says, "Behind me there are 2 urns. One contains the names that belong to each of you," and she gestures to the crowd, and you can see all the different adventuring groups kind of look at each other. "The other will identify which site you will explore first. You are permitted to explore 3 sites within the necropolis, and you may not explore the second without finishing the first. These are at least the bare minimum rules that you must follow, but there are obviously others. Remember how all of this came to pass. The plague of madness occurred because of religious zealots. There was a bunch of infighting, and they disagreed with one another, and it caused the destruction and collapse of our entire city. If there's a disagreement, come to the Grand Mausoleum and we will discuss it. Do not resort to violence, because it never solves anything." Rule number 2, every slave's hut is a memorial. She kind of like is glancing at the crowd as she says all this. Do not needlessly sack the city. You are here to grab some treasures, but do not destroy or vandalize the tombs. And this leads me to point number 3, honor the dearly departed. Those who lie in the necropolis are our beloved ones. They are our ancestors. They are family. They are our neighbors. They are our friends. Do not dishonor them. If dead must be removed, do so respectfully. Treat them with dignity. Now, of course, this does allow you are allowed to defend yourself. If undead should rise, Pharasma against Pharasma's will, you have our permission to defend yourselves and destroy the undead. But if there's a regular corpse, one that is not magically reanimated, please be respectful about them. Is this clear? And she kind of like looks at the crowd, and everyone kind of has like a murmur of consent and understanding. While you guys are looking around, though, you can kind of hear, like, during all these murmurs, a nearby group, and they're kind of like arguing amongst themselves. They're like, "What? It's going to be randomized? That wasn't what we signed up for." Eventually, once everyone settles back down, she says, "Now each site should also be studied and recorded carefully. This isn't merely a tomb raiding exercise. I want you to all go to these tombs, to these sites, and record what you find there. Who is buried? What were they like in life? Bring back this information. It will be very helpful for us at the Grand Mausoleum, and we will be more than happy to purchase any treasures you find at a fair price." After all, the necropolis had to be sealed very quickly. So be careful, be cautious, and be studious. With all that said and done, let the lottery begin. We will call you up one by one. Until then, you are free to roam the town. Thank you, and may the Lady of Graves be with you. And she gives a slight bow as everyone echoes back in chorus. May the Lady of Graves be with you.
So she's saying, don't blow shit up.
Yeah, that's basically what she's saying.
Yes. Yes, Keryth, don't blow shit up.
Keryth, that laugh does not sound like you plan on abiding by that rule.
Hey, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Everyone has an okay reflex save, right?
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh.
What is my reflex save? I have a +6.
That's fine.
You'll be fine. What's the DC of it now, anyway?
17 or something.
Hey, Keryth, what is your AC?
19.
Oh, so I only have to roll a 12.
No.
Before we go any further, I've downloaded this new mod for Foundry.
Ooh.
You guys want to see it?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, I know what you use.
I like
Aw,
that.
man, I wrote the rules down for nothing.
I mean, it's still good that you wrote down the rules. There's this mod called
Forian's Quest Log.
Yeah, that's the one.
I know
What's it called
because
again?
I use it in Abomination Vaults.
Forian's Quest Log. It's really nice for tracking like
Yes.
side quests and like main quests and all that stuff. But currently, you guys have one quest. Explore the necropolis of Wati. Step 1, study each site carefully and report back any findings on who is buried there at each site. Easy peasy, right?
Yes.
Now, of course, you don't know what your site is that you're about to explore, but that's what the next part is. As you guys are kind of like waiting around and looking around, I want everyone to roll me a perception check. That's right! We're finally rolling dice, everyone!
Let's do it.
Be excited! This
And-
is going to determine the pace of the rest of the game.
And according to the very lovely infographic that Erin made me, this is blind.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Very, very good. So for those of you who don't know, in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, there are these things called secret checks. A secret check is a die result that only the GM knows. So normally if you're playing at a table, you would roll the die, the GM would roll the die, and the player would tell them what modifier to add. So say for example, I'm like, hey Katie, why don't you roll me a blind GM roll? I would roll the die, and then she would say +2 or +3 or whatever it is. So if she got like a 9, I would know that she rolled an 11, but she wouldn't know. She would know she got something between a 2 and a 22, but that's about it. Since we're playing on Foundry, though, everyone can just automate all this rolling, and now I just have 5 numbers to look through. Of course, I can say that Tanhi, Keryth, and Khepri, did you roll for Ramses as well?
Yeah.
Dogs can sense
Ramses
things.
perceives as well.
He can smell things. I'm going to say he's not paying attention for this particular thing, but Khepri,
fine.
Keryth, and Tanhi, you guys can... Oh, and Tariq too. You guys are all... so basically everyone except for Mkfor. You guys are all looking around. And just
There's
like,
a reason
really
for
looking... Yeah, probably. You're all looking around, and you're like, ooh, what are the other adventuring groups? And as you look around, you kind of see some of the... like some of the other notable party member or party groups that stand out to you. One of them immediately gets called up. They draw. So you see the high priest on stage at the Grand Mausoleum, and it looks like this temporary stage they just made for this particular occasion. He reaches into the urn and he pulls out a ping pong ball, cracks it open like an Easter egg, and rolls out a piece of paper. And in it, he shouts out in a very loud voice. It goes, "The Crypt Finders!" And then you see this group of adventurers, and they look like they're from all over the place. They get really excited. They start shaking each other like, yeah, you got this. And this chellish armored man, he kind of stands up. Or sorry, I lied. This man, he stands up and he has like this dashing dark brown hair, and he's very pale skinned. You think he's from one of the northern regions. He stands up and he kind of like gives everyone kind of like a thumbs up or whatever. He kind of looks like since we're on a Harry Potter bench, he kind of looks like Cedric Diggory. But he stands up and he approaches the stage, and he goes up to the next one, and they reach in and they pull out and they hold they give him a map, and they're starting to have a conversation with him. Then the back to the other person, he reaches back into the other urn after a minute or two, once he's had time to address the leader of the Crypt Finders. He pulls out another egg, cracks it open, reads out the name, he goes, "The Scorched Hand!" And this time you can see the group that seem to have a little bit of dissension. They're like, oh, we have to be randomized? Why can't we pick? Blah, blah, blah. And this one, again, another lady from a northern region, except she has the biggest violet-colored hat you have ever seen. It's this big
I love
hat,
her
like just
already.
a wide brim.
Is there a
She's
picture of
wearing
this?
Everything is purple. Eventually,
Her
everything
Angela
is
would get
purple,
along.
and she has this gigantic plume of feather. And she's very colorful. And she like draws your attention immediately. She carries this gigantic spell book. She walks up to stage, and again they start discussing. Except, unlike the Crypt Finders, you can see that she's like arguing with the other person. He's like, no. You can kind of hear from here. No. You get what site you're assigned to. No discussion. No exceptions. And then finally, another egg gets pulled out. Crack. Draw out the sheet. The Band of Misfits!
Yay! That's us.
Oh, that's us, guys.
Oh,
does the whole
the
group-
leader
We got
of the
you
Band of
in.
Misfits.
Oh, we don't have a leader. We didn't decide that. I know.
So this
No,
whole
let's
time,
do what?
this whole time, and the reason that Mkfor didn't notice any of the other stuff that was going on is because he had been playing with the marbles that he got from that
the merchant from last episode.
Yeah, from the merchant, just like counting through them each time, holding them to Tariq and being like, wait, how many do I have here? And just like confirming over and over and just kind of like playing with them. And then when they call the Band of Misfits, his ears kind of like perk up because it sounds familiar. But then he looks up and it was like, oh wait, never mind. They weren't talking about us. And he goes back to looking at his marbles and is just walking forward and ends up being the first one to like head in that direction. Mkfor actually does notice one thing, and it's this plume that is on this other lady's head. And just the colors just automatically, he's like, oh, that's pretty. And wants to add it as like a new centerpiece for his next. And so he is starting to like follow her up.
Oh, gotcha. So you're not okay. Do any of you guys want to try and stop him, or is this okay? We're just gonna let him go.
No, Mkfor, no. Tanhi is immediately like, she has been around her nieces and nephews and all of her cousins enough that she knows this is not going to end well, and so she is immediately reaching out to grab at Mkfor.
I love it.
All right. Mkfor, are you gonna resist, or shall we go with an athletics check?
I mean, I'm just gonna keep walking, and like, even if she does grab me, I'm still.
You're just walking in midair, like you're holding her up, and she's holding you up. You're just like walking in the middle of the air.
Yeah, something like that.
I love it. All right, so Tanhi grabs him, and the priest is kind of just looking at you guys, and he's like tilting his head. He's like, he speaks up again. He's like, "The band of misfits, are you here?"
Yes,
no,
we're here,
I want
we're here,
that
we're
feather.
here.
Give it. I need that feather.
No,
Let me go.
No, they want us. Come on, let's go.
Okay, yeah, let's go up there with the feather.
He's going to
Go
kind
get
of
the feather.
circumvent the circus, and he's going to just go ahead and head towards the stage. And, you know,
Oh,
he's
Tariq.
back a little bit. He's like kind of shrugging at them like, anybody else joining? And
Yes.
he's going to make his way up there.
And I guess Tanhi is following along while carrying Mkfor in midair.
And Keryth is probably one of the last ones to join the group, and he has like his crafter's goggles that he usually keeps on his head, and he just kind of like tugs them down, like trying to hide himself because
I mean, fair.
like he knows his friends, but it's one thing to, you know, be like that, you know, amongst, you know, friends and acquaintances, but this is in the middle of the city at a huge event.
What was the ancient elf a little embarrassed?
A little.
I mean, we're called the Misfits, so band of Misfits.
It's true. You guys
a
don't
very
really fit in
apt
for a reason.
name. Yes.
So you guys all walk up, and the priest, he's kind of like looking at you guys sideways, and he's like,
Oh my god.
one of you airwalks.
Some of us are skipping.
Oh my
But he
god.
kind of like furrows his brow a little bit. He goes, he looks at the names like, well, at least you're properly named.
Was that an insult?
Was that an insult? That should be a celebration.
I only need one representative. You don't have to be the leader. I get that you guys are all friends, but only one person needs to be up on this stage.
I vote
Okay,
Tariq.
Tariq's going to step forward, and he's going to do one of those moves like where he runs his hand through his hair and like flips it back a little bit and goes, I can take it.
Oh no.
So
Khepri's literally just gonna skip back off the stage with Ramses following her. She's not noticing any of this. She's just like, Tariq's got it.
Oh gosh.
So while this is happening, so while Tariq is doing his manly man stuff,
This manly man stuff.
Yeah, man.
Tanhi realizes that Mkfor has calmed down, and she's like looking from Mkfor to Tariq and then back to Mkfor, and she's like, oh, that's who needs to handle him.
So
Oh lordy.
I've had a joke in my mind since like the start of this. Cause
Oh no.
yes,
Okay.
yes. So Nick was talking about how Mkfor was all distracted because of the marbles, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't say it. I didn't even put it in the chat like I really thought about doing. But I can't hold it back anymore because this moment was too perfect. He he was distracted because he was playing with his balls.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Katie Marie.
It's even better because now he's distracted by Tariq.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't say he's distracted by Tariq's balls. That's all
I didn't say it. You said it.
Oh,
You said it, Waba.
I can't
Now
think
you
about this. This is my younger brother.
Now you only have yourself to blame.
Anyways,
You're
so
welcome.
Tariq and his manly man self is going up on stage for us.
Appreciate that. So, eventually, Tariq approaches like, okay, so you're the one who's representing the, he looks back at the sheet of paper, the band of misfits?
Tariq's gonna do like that number where he kind of examines his nails and like blows on them and then like wipes them on his shoulder and he goes, "Yeah, that's me."
All right, right this way. You're going to go up to Septi. She will give you further instructions. Thank you. Next. And then he reaches back into the urn to pull out the next name.
As Tariq, starts to go up the steps, Keryth like stage whispers, "Don't trip up the stairs."
I think I can handle it.
So you eventually make it up without tripping, thankfully. And you approach Septi, and she kind of looks up to you, and she goes, "Who are in your party?"
Isn't it obvious at this point?
What are you... We're just confirming, just to make sure there are no...
Tariq, don't forget about Ramses.
Do we need to confirm mascots of our group or just
He is a valued party member, thank you.
He uses jaws.
Are you all here? Like, where are these voices coming from?
I don't think you're so far away from the
stage yelling at
That is so strange. Their voices really do carry, don't they?
I've got big ears. I can hear everything.
Septi is just looking at Tariq, and then suddenly she just hears all these shouting from the side. Don't forget the
I could just like perfectly imagine them like
It's
around the
canon
corner,
now.
all staring at like the scene of Tariq trying to and like he hasn't said a word, and they're all like shouting notes for him.
Everyone's just so excited, and she's just like, I have a list of 6 names. I'm just trying to confirm that the 6 names are here.
I'm picturing her just like looking past Tariq, and all of us are just standing there like sheepishly waving, and like Tariq.
I don't know, Mkfor might be a little distracted if he's standing behind Tariq.
Oh yeah, he's not waving. He's looking at his ass.
Oh lordy.
So Tariq starts listing off the
I have
names.
so many other groups of people to get through. What are the 6 names in your party?
All right. We got Tariq, the one and only, and he like points to himself.
Thank you.
We got the dog Ramses, our valued member. We got my
Thank
sis.
you.
We got my sis Khepri. We've got our barbarian Tanhi. We got our genius Keryth there, inventor. And then we've got Mkfor. You might have noticed him a little bit.
Oh my god,
he's
my
he's
name.
an interesting fella.
Yes, I...
Oh, and we have another name on the list, but he's dealing with family issues, so we should have Habibi there too. Is it all right that he's not here right now?
Ah, yes. Oh, you mentioned Ramses, and he's not on the list, but Habibi is. I just wasn't sure if there was a switch of party members. That's why we do this.
Ramses as a dog. My sister was very adamant about me mentioning Ramses. What? And then he turns around to Keryth and he's like, "I got this, Keryth." And then he's like, "She told me to mention Ramses was."
And Keryth just gives you a thumbs up.
She looks past Septi looks past Tariq, and she sees the dog, and he's just like wagging his tail, and like his tongue is like flopping around. He's just super happy. She's like, "Well, he's a very good dog."
He is.
He's such a good boy.
He's such a good boy.
I guess I should give you your lot. She reaches into the urn, she pulls out an egg, cracks it open, and she goes, "Your first lot is A3. That would be right here," and she points to the top of the map. You guys will be addressing this. It says here it's a tomb, but we're not sure whose tomb it is, so I guess that will be one of your tasks, is identifying whose tomb. Bring back who's buried there, what did they do in life, just so we can record all that stuff. And I have a map for you. And she kind of hands you this survey map. It gives you a bonus to navigating the busy streets of the necropolis, very rarely do people actually go into the necropolis these days. And she's like, "Well, that's it for now. The gates will be open tomorrow morning, bright and early at sunrise. You can come in anytime in the first hour after sunrise. After that, we'll have to close the gate, but there is no rush. We will be doing these explorations for a week, after which there will be an auction where we will all sell our treasures. I hope you can bring some treasure that we can start registering for this auction as soon as you can. Sound good?"
Sounds great.
Fantastic. All right. If you follow to the right, you go down the stage.
I really thought you were going to say if you would
Follow.
Slip right there.
Sorry. If you follow to the right, you go
if you
down
would just
the steps.
fuck off and let me continue my work.
If you just fuck off.
Septi's done.
Leave me alone. I gotta go to the next one.
Tariq turns around to the rest of the group and is like, you heard the lady, now you can come. And then, like, starts going down the stairwell and, like, just motioning for them to follow.
And Khepri hears now you can come, so Khepri starts walking towards the stage, and Tariq's just like, no,
Yeah, you just see the guards like, no, I called for the daughters of the desert. Next person.
So as Tariq like comes back down the stairs, Keryth looks at him and is like, I think we made a pretty good impression.
And Tariq kind of rolls his eyes like, yeah, we made an impression. I'm not sure how good of an impression it was. You know, y'all could have let me handle it. Tariq probably doesn't say the word y'all like Erin does. You all should have let me handle it. And he's kind of like all like puffy because he was like, I wanted to do it kind of mentality.
Oh, you did great,
Khepri
buddy.
just gonna come and pat his back and go,
If you haven't picked up, Tariq has a lot to prove. I'm pretty sure he's the youngest of the group, other than Mkfor, because that goblin years is kind of different.
Yeah.
But like mentally, like I think he's one of the youngest group members, and he gets mothered by his older sister a lot. So he's just got like, he just wants to be that he wants to be a man and like prove that he can do things on his own. But then like you guys are in the background, you know, telling him what to do, and he's like,
How old
I
is?
wanted to do it. That's
How
like
old is
he's like
Tariq?
all huffy right now, and that's kind of his mentality of like, I did it, but I didn't do it on my own, kind of puffiness.
Tariq's 20.
How old is
He's
Tariq?
He's 20, I believe. And
Oh,
then
my
Kepri's
character
22.
sheet says 23, and I'm
Oh, okay.
24.
A little bit older.
Oh, okay.
Remember.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit older as well. Okay, I was curious. Tanhi is 25.
And
Nice.
Before is 4.
So he's young and he's trying to prove himself a bit.
Okay, Ramses
but-
is only 1.
He's gonna go ahead and pull out the map, and he's like, he's gonna open it up, you know, just let everybody in the group look at it.
Yep, and you can see that A3 is right here in the northwestern region of the necropolis. The gates are down here to the very, very southern tip of it, so you guys are going to have to walk pretty much across the entire map. Alright, so the sun is now currently like low in the sky. Like it's early evening. There's still plenty of time in the day if you guys want to buy last minute adventuring gear. But is there anything that you guys want to do before we progress?
I don't think
Alright.
so.
As you guys are kind of like...
Mkfor is obviously looking at each of the little like shops as we go by them and just trying to like grab at things that he thinks they wouldn't miss.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned shops. I have something for that. So as you guys are kind of like leaving the stage, and like people are slowly dissipating as soon as they get their map, they're done. But as you guys are leaving, there is like a town caller, like somebody who's just like holds like a ream of paper, and they're kind of like flapping this advertisement like, come stay at the Tooth and Hookah, adventurers get a discount, we're right next to the necropolis, easy access for the morning, come sleep at the Tooth and Hookah, and they're just shouting this out.
Tooth
Do you
and
think he
Hooker?
wants us to sleep at the Tooth and Hookah?
Hookah.
The Tooth and Hookah.
Okay.
Not a hooker.
I was like,
We can all do together.
You know, it's that very famous like Arab smoking tavern type thing. You guys know what a hookah is, right?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
I know cultures.
I don't know if I would guess it's kind of a culture thing.
It looks kind of like a bong, but if I remember correctly, it's not weed, it's tobacco.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's definitely a very Arabic, Middle Eastern cultural thing. There's tons of hookah bars all over the Middle East.
They're also all
and
over
over
Columbus.
Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, no, but like, it's very culturally a Middle Eastern thing. Like that's kind of like where they come from. But yeah, obviously they're in America too. But anyways, what do you guys want to do?
Well,
I guess we're going to the hooker.
Oh my god.
and there's a tooth apparently.
Well, some of you guys do live in Wati. I don't know if you guys want to go home or
I
not.
do. But Keryth lives all the way down in the Asp district. And it's a
Oh, so
decent
it's far away.
ways from the necropolis, so I don't know like how far that would be, like if it would just be worth it to just stay there.
It'd probably take you about an hour to walk all the
I
way
mean-
from the Asp.
I mean, I kind of live like close to the entrance. Like I live like close to the hookah place. but I don't know if y'all want to mess with my whole family.
Yes.
Your whole family lives in one house.
Yes.
That's why they have to
we
All
are a
90,000 of you?
colony. Yes.
You just
Our
see,
whole
like,
colony
tons
is
of
there.
catfolk. All the catfolk in this city are part of one family.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
I have questions, but I don't want to ask, and I don't want to know the answer.
No, we
you
don't
want
have-
to know the answer.
No, we do not.
Because the answer is yes.
We don't have genetic mutations.
Oh,
We don't.
no.
We don't participate in incest. We go out and we choose a mate.
It's
And we bring them back
that's
to the house.
2-year journey of your family. You go out and mate, and then you come back home and have
They all
the
do a
kids.
walkabout.
Yeah.
Isn't that how the Gerudo say they have children? Like in Breath of the Wild, we see a ton of Gerudo outside of Gerudo Town, and it's because they're looking for a guy to bed with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking
But
for
the,
I know
but the
people
children that are
more.
born are still born as Gerudo.
Yes, except for every 100 years,
One
a
male.
male is born, he becomes a leader, sexist, but his name is Ganondorf, and he fucks
Every
everything up.
100 years, you'd think after a while they'd stop naming him Ganondorf. Like, seriously.
No wonder he had problems with that as his name.
I think they always name him something. It just happened to be the one time he was born and they named him Ganondorf. He was also raised by 2 witches, and the witches told him to be evil, and then he decided, you know what? Yeah, let me take over the world.
Oh my god.
And then he got his plans ruined by a teenager that found a sword and a stone.
Not even. It was a 10-year-old.
Yep.
I don't even know what you guys are referencing right now.
I love Ocarina. It's Ocarina
Legend
of
of
Time. It's
Zelda.
like one of them. Anyways,
I
back
didn't
to
play
this.
that
So you guys
game.
are staying at Tanhi's or
Not
Tooth and Hookah or
sponsored.
both?
Not sponsored by
Nope,
Ocarina of Time.
Nintendo. I'll take private messages.
Tariq?
Email me at the Mithral Tabletop. Actually, no, just email me privately. Here's my email.
Well, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but Keryth doesn't want to have to share a room with a child. That would more than likely happen in Tanhi's very packed house. And he
Definitely
doesn't
thought
feel
you were
like
talking
having
about
to.
Mkfor.
Me too.
No. Yeah, he doesn't want to room with
He doesn't
Mkfor
want to
either.
room with- well, I mean, it's kind of risky rooming with Mkfor. Tariq
I know.
definitely does not want to room with Mkfor.
Oh,
Does not
Yeah.
trust that.
That would
He's
be.
ignored the
There
lock.
might be.
And Keryth also doesn't feel like having to walk an hour plus from his place to the necropolis first thing in the morning. So he is down with staying at this hookah bar.
yeah, let's go try it, because you know what? Sometimes when you're about to go on an adventure, you need a little mini adventure.
Can we
Let's go
can we
on an
participate
adventure.
in the hookah?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Oh,
wanna
there's a
try
mechanic for it. I love it.
I mean, there's no mechanic for it. You just like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I engage in the Tooth and Hookah, and okay, you do that.
How did
I
you
thought it
do
was
that?
going to be like depending on they would have like different types, and depending on
Oh, that would be
which
so
one
cool.
you chose, you have to do like a fortitude save or something, and it could have like different effects, like magical items and stuff.
Ooh, that's a. So here's the thing.
You're welcome.
In like a month, soon, maybe a week, very very soon. It's currently early, like middle of February, but Paizo is about to release a book called Treasure Vaults.
I'm so
And
excited.
there's a ton of items in there, and I think there's a bunch of rules for like food and like bonuses that you get from food. So I think maybe we can like maybe figure something out with hookah. I don't think they're gonna have hookah in it, but maybe I'll be surprised. Either way, I don't think there's currently any hookah item actually mechanically in the game.
I don't think so either, but
Nope. But that's fine. If you guys, so if you guys eventually make it out to the Tooth and Hookah, who is not going, by the way?
I am going wherever Tariq is going.
Aww.
that's a little more
It's kind of
creepy
cute.
than awe.
It's kind of cute.
It is such unrequited love.
Fair enough. It's not all.
It's like okay, so Tariq is like obviously an adult, but Mkfor is like, you know when you're really little and you like see like a celebrity on TV
Or like,
and you have like a crush
and you say
on
you're gonna
them?
marry them.
But like, I
Yes,
know
but
them in
obviously
real
it's not
life,
gonna
so, like,
happen.
that's the difference.
I was obsessed with both Lance Bass and Tim McGraw as a kid and wanted to marry them. And I was also very upset when I found out that Tim McGraw was married to Faith Hill. But it's okay
Also-
because they have decent music. So I was
Fun
okay with it.
fact: Faith Hill and Tim McGraw are not the owners of the textbook company, McGraw Hill.
No, they are not.
Interesting.
I genuinely looked it up, so...
How long did you believe that they were?
That's the story.
It was brief, so it's okay.
She just sitting in class one day. It's like, wait a minute. This says McGraw and Hill.
I am not proud to say it was in my master's degree, but it's fine.
Oh my god, Ashley.
Anyway, sorry. I had to say that.
Whenever I tell people, hey, meet Ashley, she's my girlfriend, she dumped wisdom and dexterity. They're like, well, that's so mean. I'm like, give it 5 minutes. You'll see what I mean.
You're right.
And then there's me who's going, no, that's pretty much about it. And then he told my sister that one day, and she goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I love you so
same.
much, but yeah. Anyways, so you guys walk up to the Tooth and Hookah, and it's this 2-story building made of like the same clay mortar mud brick that the rest of the city has. Except at the top, you can clearly see it has a much more open design. Instead of having walls on the outside, it's like an open courtyard on the 2nd floor. And they have like potted plants, like big, tall palm trees kind of thing. You guys walk through the door and immediately are like blasted in the face with the smell of tobacco. And I mean, it smells good if you're into that kind of thing. It might be overwhelming if you're not. But as you walk in, you just see this place is packed with adventurers. All the different adventuring groups that you guys had seen walking in here are present already, as well as more coming in all the time. And as you guys walk in, you see 2 Garundi people, for the most part, trying to like rush around taking care of this place. And they look happy. Like, business is booming. Business is good for them right now. And as they walk around, like, you see this one lady. She's kind of like very focused and serious, and she's kind of has a scowl on her face, but with like this really dumb haircut. And she's walking around, she's like, be with you in a second, and she's carrying this giant plate of like food, and she's trying to like balance it, and she like sets it down. It's like, okay, here you go, here's your thing, do you have any other orders? And these people are already smashed, they're already drunk out of their minds. And she's like, if you have anything, just go talk to my brother over there, his Farhan, we have more guests. And then from behind the counter, you see this big, tall, like really like large guy. He has very short hair and scars all over his face. He looks kind of handsome if you're into scars and stuff, but he looks like kind. Like he has a big smiling face. He's like, welcome to the Tooth and Hookah. Is there anything I can do for you? And he's like waving you across the entire place.
Do you need help?
The lady kind of speaks up. She's like, don't I look like I need help? No, I got this. Don't worry about me. And she like rushes back to the back. You can see like the little chef's door, like the little half door, kind of like flap as she walks past.
Are they both human?
And then
Are they both human?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you need
I was
help,
just curious.
we can help.
So Mkfor stepped.
Keryth would just make it worse.
Mkfor stepped forward as soon as the mention of help was needed. But then once the lady was like, oh yeah, do I look like I need help? And like walked away, Mkfor was like, oh, she's fine. She'll be fine.
I mean, that's fair.
Well, I'm looking around, guys. It looks pretty darn crowded in here, but I can go try to scout us out a table. So Khepri, being very, very small and sly and quick on her feet, is like, do you want me to go find a table? Because I kind of take this as a challenge.
Mithral has already weaseled his way into like the biggest and most rambunctious group and just like planted himself between the biggest people there and is like part of them passing the hookah around or whatever.
And you know what? They let it happen.
Hell yeah, they do.
They're like, we got a little buddy over here.
Never mind. I think Mkfor found a good spot. We can just go over there.
Except that table does not have room for the rest of us.
Yeah, as soon as you guys look and walk over, Mkfor looks up and was like, hey, this table's full. Go find a different one.
Oh! You're part of our group, Mkfor.
I'm part of whatever group I want to.
Hey, let the little guy stay. He's having fun, eh?
Well, I guess we're just gonna go. Tariq, come on, let's go find a spot.
And as Keryth goes to follow Khepri and Tariq, he kind of shouts over his shoulder, good luck getting your own room!
You guys find a small round table, and it's next to this pool. And you guys all sit down, and it's like right across from the bar where Farhan is kind of like taking orders and cleaning drinks and stuff. And you guys all sit down, and as soon as Tariq sits down, you hear this hissing and a snap come from right behind you, and like Tariq stands up like real quick, and then you look at the pool, and there's a tiny little baby crocodile.
Oh, can we name him Banjo? Please.
Oh my gosh.
He already has a name, if you bother to ask.
What's his name?
And you see Haram kind of... did I say
Haram?
Farhan? Sorry, my Egyptian slipped in. You see Farhan... You see Farhan kind of looks up and is like, oh, that's that little guy right there. His name's Toothy. We named him the Tooth. We named this place the Tooth and Hookah after him. It was actually my sister Kema's idea. And she like barges out of the kitchen again, carrying like this time like a tray of drinks. And she's like, he'll bite your fingers off, so careful. Excuse me, pardon me. She like walks past again. She's like, don't mind Kema. She's always in a grumpy mood, but she's actually really sweet if you get to know her. Is there anything I can do for you guys in the meantime?
Do you have any rooms available?
You know, we actually just rented out our second to last room. You guys would be our last ones.
Is there enough room for, 6 people and a dog?
If you're willing to share beds.
I'll share a bed with the dog.
I'm used to
Across
sleeping on the floor.
Mkfor says, I'll share a bed with Tariq.
No, thank you. I might find elsewhere to live.
To live? Oh my god.
He knows where I live.
I'm like dying over here. I just swallowed my spit.
And you just see Farhan. He's just kind of laughing. He's like, "You guys are funny. You guys are funny. I'm gonna like you guys."
Yeah, we're known as the band of misfits.
All right, I'll write you down.
Just
as
Khepri
the
gives
band
him a
of
business
misfits.
card.
Just appears out of thin air.
The Misfits. But he takes out a little notepad and he like writes it down. He's like, yes, okay, so the band of misfits. I'll try to remember that. Well, we have a special deal for adventurers. Those of you partaking in the lottery. Normally we charge 3 silver pieces a night, but for you guys, we'll give it to you 30% off, 2 silver pieces a night per person. It's a pretty good deal if I do say so myself.
I have 2 silver pieces.
Huh? What'd you say?
Isn't that 33% off?
0.33.
Whatever. Close enough.
All right, Nick, that means you get to pay 2 silver and 3 copper. Mkfor pays 2 silver and 3 copper. Everybody else is going to pay 2 silver.
He's like, yeah, it's only 2 silver pieces. You can stay here for as long as the lottery is happening. You can stay longer for that, but the sale is only going on for during the lottery.
You
so
said
once the
it
auction
was...
happens, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to charge you full price.
You said it was 2 silver a person?
Per night, yes.
Okay.
And all the hookah you can smoke.
Comes with the room.
Well, the hookah stays down here. We don't allow guests.
The price with the room.
Yeah, kind of thing. We don't allow the guests to take the hookah up into the rooms, unfortunately. But if you wanted to smoke, you can smoke down here. And there's a little patio upstairs. You can have like an open air kind of like courtyard feel. If you have your own hookah, you can smoke that there too. But we tried to keep it respectful because people are trying to sleep.
What activities do you have for us non-hookah smokers? Because I saw this pool and got really excited, like, oh, I can swim, but it's okay if I can't. I want Toothy to have his space.
Toothy is he doesn't sit in the pool all the time. If you want to swim in there a little bit, I don't mind. I don't think he will mind sharing. Although there are plenty of other places to swim. We have a pool somewhere in this little city. I think it's you should know this. I'm floundering.
It's over where they were having the
It's the
announcements.
Golden Lake, right?
No, not that. The Golden.
The Golden Lake.
The Golden Lake is not like a public pool.
Oh.
It's a sacred pool for like the Pharasman crocodiles.
So we can swim in it.
Khepri sitting there thinking about her and Tariq's childhood.
Don't swim in that, Mkfor.
Swimming in there.
It's not all it's crocked up to be.
How dare you? How dare you?
That was amazing.
Well, I have to get back to work. I'm quite busy at the moment, but like I said, if you need me, I'm just a holler away.
Wait, what room are we?
Oh, room 7.
Do we have keys?
No keys. Just close the door.
Oh, okay,
The
got it.
bars. It closes from the inside.
Tariq feels unsafe.
This is fantasy middle-aged time. We don't have.
Closed from the
Wait, no, we have
inside,
keys.
Andrew.
We have keys and locks. What am I talking about?
Well, but you're fired.
I am fired. I'm not. Listen.
He's been hitting the drink a little too hard, sir. Keys are good.
Do you guys ever just improv yourself into a corner?
Yes.
Every time.
All the
That's
time.
why.
Alright, anyways,
That's why I'm flirting with Tariq.
Well,
You can stop at any time. You can find other crushes.
Please.
Nighty
No, it's okay.
night,
Do-
Mr. Not
Is there anything you guys want to do before you go to bed, or is that actually what's happening?
How late in the day is it?
I mean, it's in the evening now. It's like the sun is about to set. You can like hang out, relax, unpack for a little bit, and then.
I mean,
eventually go to bed.
Mkfor is definitely going to be like the last one in the hookah bar.
Oh, I would expect nothing less.
And to the point where he is actually going to fall asleep under whatever hookah table he ends up at last. So,
Does that mean
good
he
job,
doesn't
yeah,
have to
good
pay the
job,
2 silver
Tariq. You don't need
pieces?
to worry about sleeping in the same bed. So
You're still paying for the bed, though. You're signed up for that room.
they can take it while I'm sleeping.
So-
Lordy.
So while everyone is like enjoying the activities and not quite going to bed yet, Tariq goes up to their room and he like kind of puts his stuff down. He kind of looks at the map or survey, whatever it was that they got. And he's
It's a
studying
survey
it.
map, but it's a map, yeah.
So it is still a map. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. So he's gonna start studying the map and kind of making some plans. And at the same time, he's got this like running commentary. He's like, yeah, I'm the leader of the group. We have, and he's like reliving this conversation on like how, and he's like, yeah, so we've got Keryth, Mkfor, and he's like saying like they're a great group, and I am their leader. Yes.
I am
So
their
he's just like doing
leader.
this as he's studying, as he's like trying to talk himself up.
That's so cute.
So
Awesome.
while Tariq is like in the middle of that, like setting up the map and talking to himself, not crazily, Keryth wanders in, and as he walks in, he's not paying attention at first when he walks in because he's pulling something out of his bag, but he hears the muttering, and he just kind of like stops and stares at Tariq for a minute, and then just shrugs because it's just Tariq, and he walks over to a desk that's in there. And as he walks by Tariq, he just says, "Make sure you don't stay up too late, kid," as he sits down to start fiddling with this ornate box that he pulled out.
He just kind of looks at Keryth, and he has like the retort that he's not a kid, and he's looking at this elf that's, hundreds of years old, and he's like, what? Yeah, I'm pretty excited, but yeah, you're right. I should probably get some rest. And then he's like, I'm going to see what Khepri's up to, and then I might go ahead and go to bed. So he's going to go off
Right
to
as you
find
do
Khepri.
that, Khepri just barges in with Ramses, and she's like, "Hey, what's up?"
And Ramses has zoomies, so he's running up to Tariq, like licking his face and like running around him in circles, wagging his tail.
He's so
Ramsey,
cute.
this room is way too small. And like Ramsey just like runs right into Tariq, and then like sits down and just like looks up at him, like panting or whatever, really excitedly. And he just pets him. He's like, "Well, I was gonna go look for you, but I guess you found me first." I was getting ready to say I'm about ready to head to bed. You plan on doing anything else tonight?
No, I took Ramses on a little walk. That's about it. And I was kind of sightseeing, but also people watching. And let me say, I think we might be quote unquote misfits, but I think we've got a really good team here.
And Tariq's gonna like kind of park up a little bit. He's like, "Did somebody say something to you? Who was it?
Oh,
Who was it?"
I just replay how everyone else was so serious at the lottery, and you know what? We had this down, guys. We were happy and excited, and everyone else just was like, "Oh, this is for money. This is for treasures," and we're like, "This is for exploration."
an adventure.
True. And Tariq kind of like scratches the back of his head because he's recognizing that he was also like kind of going over this whole event in his head and how it could have gone better. And he's like, yeah, that's pretty true. Well, I have the map over here on the desk if you want to take out a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and hit the head.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
hit the bed. Well, he is
You hit
going to
your head
go
on
pee
the bed?
first.
You sure
He's going to go
about
pee
that?
first, and then he's going to go to bed.
Don't
There
hit
you
the
go.
hay. He's
Is
a
it hit
tall
the hay?
king.
What
Yes,
phrase
it's
am
hit
I
the
trying
hay.
to say?
I really don't know. I'm a little
What is
concerned.
life? Erin is about ready to hit the hay. She needs to go to bed.
I'm pretty sure hit the head means go to the bathroom.
I know, that's why I said, well, he's gonna go potty
Oh,
first
I didn't know that.
and then go to
I
bed.
didn't either.
I got you, Erin.
Thank you. You've never heard that phrase before?
No, I'm too Canadian for that.
I'm sure people in Canada say it.
I'm sure they have, but I don't know.
You are correct. Hit the head is slang for going to the restroom.
That's so weird.
Right?
It is, but I meant to say hit the hay, which is slang for go to bed, but I said head instead of hay.
All right.
Well, Khepri's gonna go look at the map real quick too, and she's just kind of taking it in, and she's like, "Wow, we get to go look at this. We get to go in, and this is something she's been very excited about as someone who is a very strong follower of Nethys and from this family line where they want to protect the history and everything about Wati. She's just very excited and very honored to be able to go and explore."
Well, you guys all... Yeah, where's Tanhi sleeping, by the way? Because I think Khepri, Tariq, Keryth, Mkfor, they're all here, right? Where's Tanhi? Is she going over to her place?
You know what? Tanhi is gonna go visit her family. It may be the last time she sees them.
Oh,
Because you never know.
morbid. I hope it's not that deadly.
Kepri's all like, we're going on an
Foreshadowing.
adventure," and Tawny's like, I may meet my death.
Well, Khepri is the
hold on.
bubbly
Okay,
half.
let me rephrase that. It may be the last time she sees her family because she may like the taste of freedom.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Oh, this is a way different statement now.
I'm
Now
gonna get
she's
my
a
villain
runaway
arc somewhere. I'm gonna get my villain arc somewhere.
I was about to say, are you trying to become a villain?
That's another conversation from another game, but yeah. We're playing too many games. So eventually the morning comes and all the adventurers, they get up early. I assume you guys do the same. You
Yep.
kick Mkfor awake. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, come on, let's go." You guys all do your daily preparations. You study your spells. You prepare your weapons, your armor. You get ready, and everyone, there's like a sense of excitement, like a race is about to happen, even though it's not actually a race. There's no time limit. There's no reward for finishing your 3 sites faster than everyone else. But there is still an excitement, right? And to facilitate this, the Pharasman priests, they're kind of standing on top of the walls, and they're using magic to elevate their voices, and it's kind of like booming across the small little street over here, right next to Tooth Hookah in front of the door. And they say, "Adventurers, are you ready? On your marks! Get set!" And we'll pick it up here next week.
We got to roll 1 die.
I know.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked what you heard, then please like, share, or subscribe to the Mithral Tabletop. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Or feel free to email us at themithraltabletop@gmail.com. See you next week. Music and sound effects provided to you by Envato Elements. The Mummy's Mask is copyright 2014. Mummy's Mask images, characters, and artwork are all a trademark of Paizo Incorporated.